So hello friends and welcome back to Young Minds Unplugged. Last few episodes we have been talking about bullying, very important topic when it comes to our children, right? So now in this episode we will be going a little more deeper into understanding. Now what do you do when you find out that your child is being bullied? Okay, the first and foremost thing is please don't get angry and upset. Don't overreact. Okay? Try to understand what the situation is. Sit down with the child, ask the child about the complete situation that has happened in detail. Then run the child through that whole situation. Ask the child again and again, is this what happened? Like for example, if your child is having lunch and if somebody walks in and just takes away his lunch box, his or her lunch box, you can ask the child, is that what really happened? Or maybe he or she were called by names, or maybe they were teased. So ask the child what exactly has happened and who are the people who are doing this to them. Now when you ask this, what happens is that many a times the child may not open up that easily because they may feel scared, they may feel ashamed, they may not want to talk about it because they themselves are feeling very scared from inside. But then you have to give them that assurance that you as parents will stand for them. You will take some step for them. You are there to help and support them. Then let the child have that trust in you and then ask the child about these things. And when the child actually tells you the details about the incident that has happened or what the child is going through in the school, then you can definitely approach the school authorities. You can talk to them. But here also you have to be assertive. You don't have to get aggressive. You don't have to go on accusing the authorities because in school this is bound to happen. Kids are going to get mischievous. They are going to call names. They are going to tease each other. Teasing is very normal in schools and colleges. But if you feel that this is beyond teasing, then you can definitely bring it to the notice of the authorities. You can tell them, I can understand that kids do tease each other and there is all fun and mischief going around. But I think in this case it was beyond teasing. So you can make your point clear and be very assertive when you talk to the authorities. Also, ask the authorities what are the policies that the school has for bullying. Get the details about the policy and what actions does the school take when such kind of cases are brought to their notice. And very importantly, the don'ts that you should actually not do. What are those? Is don't approach the child who has bullied your kid directly. Please don't do that. You have to always approach this situation through the authorities, not by directly going or kind of scolding the child who has bullied your kid. Please don't do that. Secondly, please do not have a negative talk with your child. Please don't tell your child, you need to stand up for yourself, you can't do this to yourself, you need to do this. Please don't do that because the child already is going through the trauma. The child just doesn't know. He or she is lost. They don't know what to do. And if you tell them that you have to stand for yourself and you have to take your own decision and you have to do it, at times it can be very, very overwhelming for the kid and they may get into the shell. So please don't do that. Talk out. Tell them that we are there to help you. We will definitely help you. We are there to support you. Let's sort it out, this whole thing in a proper way, so that when you do this, you are not diminishing the child's self-esteem. Because when bullying happens, the first thing that happens with the child or anybody is that the self-esteem goes for a toss. Kids start feeling very, very low about themselves. They start feeling very bad about themselves. They don't feel too nice about themselves. They will shy away from everyone and they feel that they're good for nothing. So these are the emotions the child will go through when bullying happens to them. So please be very, very careful about when you're talking to your child. Of course, you have to encourage your child to ignore or maybe to take a little stand, but not in a negative way. You can tell a child that, okay, if this is happening, then next time, please go up and tell a teacher. Please go somebody who's in charge and just stand up and go and tell the teacher that this is happening. You don't have to come with this at home. You can say this to the child, but yes, very importantly, you should tell the child that you will always be there to help and support and listen to them about whatever they are undergoing. Now this I spoke about the school kids, So what about teenagers? What happens it's a little bit different in teenagers. We spoke about from the standard, maybe from 4th standard to 8th standard, but when it happens in teenagers, what happens? The symptoms are the same. Like I said, that they may come home and get aggressive. Many a time teenagers, they go into a shell, they don't want to talk to anybody. Why? Because then they are ashamed of what has happened with them. And the main thing with teenagers that happens, because since this is a metamorphosis phase and the self-worth and the self-esteem play a very high importance in their life, when bullying happens, this is the first thing that takes a toll. And yes, they don't feel good about themselves. Kids around may tease your child upon the physical appearance, or maybe how they talk, how they walk. So these things can happen, and this can take a high toll on the teenager's self-esteem. What do you do in this such case then? Again, few pointers to this, what the parents should do. Same thing, sit down with the child, talk to the child, because yes, as parents you can sense that something is wrong, there is an abnormal behavior happening. And yes, very importantly, they'll say they don't want to go to the college, or they don't want to go to the high school, because they feel that okay, that is not a safe place for them to go. So when they start saying this, that okay, I don't want to go to school, I hate the college, I hate the high school, it's not the place for me, and I don't know, I want to just finish this and finish this off very soon and get out of it and all. When you hear such kind of words from your teenagers, this is a big sign that they're not liking where they are going. Or maybe it is because bullying is happening. I'm not saying that these are 100% pointers to bullying, but yes, they can be the pointers to know and give you an insight that your child may be bullied. Again, a very big thing that I want to point out, advice for the parents, is that the same thing, please do not make the child feel as if he or she is doing something wrong by being on social media, or he or she is unnecessarily getting bogged down because of the comments that are passed by the friends. Yes, because this is the phase where they are really affected by the social circle or the social group they are into, and how the group thinks about them, what the group thinks about them. So if this is happening, as a parent, sit down and talk it out with them. Give them that assurance that you are always going to be there and support them. How do you handle this when it happens in teenagers? Again, the same thing. You can actually go to the authorities, talk to them, because if the bullying is not going to stop, yes, you can advise your child. Like in the earlier episode, my son did mention this, that the best thing is to ignore. Yes, the best thing is to ignore, to avoid being with people who are teasing you, and generally to kind of find a place where there are a lot of people, where there's public place, so that these bullies don't find you alone and corner you out and bully you. So for the teenagers, they can do this. They can absolutely be closer to the teacher whenever there's break time, or be in a bunch of friends, always be surrounded by friends, and so that, or always be in a group, so that the bullies don't actually single them out and bully them. And avoid going into places where you know that the bullies will be there. So this is the advice for the teenagers. And as the parents of teenagers, again, if they share with you what is happening, how they are bullied, and what is the type of bullying, it can be physical abuse, it can be verbal abuse, it can be emotional abuse. So what type of bullying it is, you can definitely approach the authorities of the high school or the college. Tell them that these are the things that are happening, and what are the steps that the authorities will be taking to stop the bullying that is happening with your kid, or in general, what are the steps that the authority will take to stop bullying in the school premises. So we as parents can take these few steps to kind of help our child, if the child is getting bullied, to come out of bullying, and also create an awareness. We can talk to a child if these things happen, then what they should do, because this is very important in this age, that the kids are they know what to do when they are bullied, and you as parents also know what exactly should be done. There's no need of getting aggressive, there's no need of getting very angry, because teasing and all these are very common when it comes to friends. So we should not directly approach the person who's bullying you or your child. Rather, approach it through a proper channel. Maybe talk to the authorities can talk to the parents of the child, and this is how it can be channeled out. Now there's one very important thing, before approaching the authorities or going to the school, please take the consent of your teenager. because at times they will not be comfortable you approaching the authorities, because they're scared that if you go to the authorities and if then later on in the school they're bullied more. Yes, and so the kids may not be in favor of you directly approaching the authorities. So please take their consent. It's fine, if that is, and if it can be handled at his or her level, and if you can ask a child if he or she can handle it at their level by, like I said, by giving them certain pointers as to how to handle the bullies. But then if the bullying is not stopping, then definitely your child's safety comes first. So you need to go and talk to the authorities, whether your child wants or doesn't want it. You have to go and approach that proper road. So my dear parents and my dear teenagers and all the young minds out there, remember that please do not take bullying that lightly. This is something which can actually damage a person's personality for a lifetime. There are many cases that I come across where yes, bullying has had or hampered the personalities of the people, and as when we grow as adults, that scar remains and it can become a hindrance in many areas when we grow as adults. So please take care about this, or handle bullying at the right time. And as parents, be patient, listen to your children, give them right advice, go through the proper channel for handling bullying. Do not get too much upset about it or angry about it, and do not take a step that can actually hamper your child's future. So for the parents and the young minds here, these were the few pointers I wanted to talk about bullying. So thank you for tuning in, and see you in the next episode.